Hello and welcome to another episode of Salary Voodoo, the show right here on the MonkMMATics channel where I, your host, Monk, aka the Monkmatician, give you a little bit of a different perspective as far as constructing those GPP lineups, guys. We're going to get fighters out of the way here and just focus on the optimal numbers from just the salaries. So a little bit different, as I said, way to look at things. You'll definitely see some information that you will find nowhere else. And without further ado, let's get right into Salary Voodoo for UFC Vegas 77.
Show's about to start!
What is Salary Voodoo? Well, guys, first we got to lay a few ground rules and an explanation. Salary Voodoo offers stats that aim to give you a fresh, unique angle when it comes to MMA DFS lineup construction, especially when we focus on GPP tournaments. I glean stats from historically unusual places, such as salaries, fight positions, weight classes, etc., etc. Very heavily probability based and probably very overanalyzed as well. All stats are tracked since 1/1/21 and only natural salaries are used. Most importantly, guys, be sure to comment down below in this video of the fights you want to see from a Salary Voodoo perspective next week. UFC London, we've got Aspinall, and I don't even remember off the top of my head. We've got a pretty decent card, especially following the one this week. So yeah, be sure to comment down below which fights you want to see broken down from a Salary Voodoo perspective, and we will take care of that for you. UFC London. Without further ado, let's get right into the voodoo.
I think there just might be no rules. Promise me a million times that you will never do another rule.
And the first fight for Salary Voodoo UFC Vegas 77 was given to us by Ronnie Dobbs. Thank you, Ronnie Dobbs. 9,100 going against 7,100. Now this is going to be a featherweight fight. Someone from Featherweight Fights makes the optimal lineup 56.73% of the time. Fight number 6 is another good number, 56.5%. However, the salary pair of 9,100 and 7,100 makes the optimal lineup only 41.5% of the time, and we are putting them in our lineups 4.6% too much, guys. We are over leveraged. You do not want to see positive leverage on this show, that's for sure. Average ownership for 9,100 so far 27.65%, and we're putting that in our lineup on average about 5.31% too much. We got to lower our ownership for 9,100 historically. The finish win rate of 9,100 is a 36.17%. Decision win rate is 33%. And here we have a Southpaw versus Orthodox matchup in which Southpaws win 52.5% of the time, while Orthodox just 45.5% of the time. 7,100 average ownership, that's not a right number. It's probably like 17%, something like that. I must have put that in wrong here.
Oh my god! He admitted it!
Leverage minus 1.34. So whatever low ownership it is, I imagine it's probably 19 or 20. I don't have my spreadsheet pulled up, but just take my word for it. We are under leveraged by 1.5. Meanwhile, the $7,100 salary has a finish win rate of 19.15% and a decision win rate of just under 31%. Let's get into the real numbers here, guys. These two salaries have faced off 94 times since January 1st, 2021, with the favorite salary making the optimal lineup 21 times and the dog salary just 3 times less, so way closer than I would have imagined. That's a 22.34% optimal rate for 9,100, a terrible number, and an even worse number, 19.15% for the underdog salary here. 9,100 has a win rate of 69.15%. Its underdog pair has a win rate of just 30.85%. Optimal in wins. When 9,100 wins, makes optimal 32% of the time. Not bad, not great. But when 7,100 wins, as you would expect, a decent number here, 62%. And when 7,100 does win, 96.66. Optimal is the optimal score, I should say. When 9,100 wins, 116.71. So guys, there's some interesting numbers here. Not quite as good as I would have thought for the $9,100 salary. And the $7,100 salary looks even worse. So what are we going to get here between 91 and 71? Are we going to get some bad voodoo, or are we going to get some of that good voodoo that we need? Let's find out. And here we've got some bad voodoo, a frozen jack for $9,100. Turns out that is Melky Costa this week, taking on Austin Lights Out Lingo at 7,100. The stats just are not good. The salary scores are awful, both in the 20s. with the favorite salary being the 21st salary overall. So out of a 1 to like what 35 at this point, something like that, this is 21st, so not great and well below average with a 9.02. 7100 is 1 point worse, 10.07, and that's good for 28th. So what's that, 7th or 8th worst out of all salaries? So we've got a frozen jack here. You see frozen jack, that means we've got that bad voodoo. Maybe just take this one down a couple of notches as far as your rostering goes.
I don't know how to work the body.
Fight number 2 for Salary Voodoo, UFC Vegas 77. This one brought to us by Ryan Cullen, 1850. Thank you so much, Ryan. This is on YouTube, not Twitter, at Ryan Cullen, 1850. 8,700, 7,500. I dropped my lens cap. Let's see, what do we got? A lightweight fight here. 51.1% of the time, lightweights fight, someone makes the optimal lineup. Fight number 9. The exact opposite. Whenever fight number 9 happens, someone makes it 43.52% of the time. That is one of the worst numbers out of all fights. And the salary pair of 8,700 and 7,500, someone makes optimal 49.5% of the time. And we do have a slight bit of negative leverage, which we do want to see. Again, negative leverage is good. That means we're not getting this fight in our lineups enough, by less than 1% in this case, but still not quite enough. 8,700 average ownership, 25.68%, and we are getting 5.25% leverage here, guys. We got to get 8,700 in our lineups on an average of 5% more often. Southpaw versus switch here, the advantage is going to go to switch. 53.57% win rate to Southpaw's 44.64%, and the finish win rate of 8,700, 32%, decision win rate 36%. Meanwhile, 7,500 average ownership, 22.73%, and we are over leveraged by almost, I was going to say 4.5, but it's closer to 4, by 4.18%. That is a big number, and we're getting this salary in our lineups 4% too much. Finish win rate for 7,500 is 18.5. Decision win rate just 12.37. Let's get into the optimal stats here. These two have faced off 97 times, with the $8,700 salary making optimal 30 of those times. That is a 30.93 optimal rate, a fantastic number. Anything over 30 is really pretty good. It has a win rate of 68%. But when 8,700 does win, it makes optimal only 45.5% of the time, scoring 111.5 points on average. 7,500, again, 18 out of 97 optimals. That is good for 18.5%, a very, very low number. Has a win rate of under 31. But when it does win, as you would expect, kind of a decent number here, 60%. However, that number should be higher, but 7,500 just has some bad luck when it comes to A, winning, and B, making the optimal lineup at under 19%. Average DraftKings points per optimal for this salary, 107.1. So guys, this is a close one. This one's interesting. 8,700 looks like it should be a very good fight to play. Lightweights are over 50%. The salary pair leverage is right about 50% here, but what is 7,500 going to do? Is it going to drag us down too much? Are we going to get a frozen jack? Are we going to get a Bernie? Let's find out. And here we go. We got ourselves a Bernie, baby. You see, that little sly grin on his face, his circular glasses. We've got that good voodoo, and that's what we've got here between Nazim Sadikov and Terrence McKinney. Good fight picked by Ryan Cullen. 8,700, 7,500. The salary score for the favorite, 6.90. That is good for 9th best overall. Meanwhile, 7,500, a terrible, awful, no good salary score. 10.29, good for 29th best overall. Again, this is out of like 34, 35 salaries, so we're in pretty much the bottom 5 or bottom 6. However, 8,700 is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I am factoring in the athletes that are fighting in this fight and their willingness to get knocked out or knock people out. So that's going to bump it, just like a fish bumped that guy out of the water that time.
I was supposed to die, but a fish bumped me out with its nose.
And it's going to bump it on to a good voodoo side of things. So thank you, Bernie. Thank you for giving us your good voodoo, and let's keep it moving. Last fight of the night. Fight number 3 and the last fight to finish off Salary Voodoo this week. We've got 8,600 going against 7,600. This one is picked by Jenna Marie. Jenna Doyle 57 on YouTube. Follow her over at Jenna Marie. Thank you so much for your suggestion, and I'm glad we got to use it this week. Bantamweight 135 pounders, women's bantamweight I should say, makes the optimal lineup just 48.5% of the time. Fight number 13, very, very good, 57.14%. I believe this is the highest number out of all fights.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, that is so.
And the salary pair of 8,600 and 7,600 is fantastic. A huge 54.1% optimal, and we're still under leveraged by almost 3%, guys. What an incredible number. The average ownership for 8,600 is 27.3, and we are under leveraged by 5.5%. So get 8,600 in your lineup. Stance Southpaw versus Orthodox. Southpaw has the advantage there, 52.5 to just 45.5, and the finish win rate for 8,600, 33.67, 31.63 decision win rate. The underdog salary here, 23.56% average ownership, and we're over-owned, over-leveraged, I should say, by 2.13%. The finish win rate of 7,600 is 19.5 with a 13.27 decision win rate. Let's get into the Salary Voodoo numbers. 98 times 86 has faced against 76, and 86 has made the optimal lineup 32 of those times for an incredible 32.65% optimal rate. Again, anything over 30 is pretty good, and we are 2.5% over. Has a win rate of 65.31%, and when 8,600 does win, guys, it makes the optimal lineup 50% of the time, which is a great number for us, you know, a favorite salary overall, averaging 114.25 DraftKings points per optimal. Absolutely love the $8,600 salary and the numbers that it does put out. 21 times 7,600 has made the optimal lineup out of 98. That is a 21.43 percentage. Not great at all. 32.5% win rate. When it does win, though, 65.63% optimal, a very respectable number. And it's scoring 108.66 points when it does make the optimal, guys. So what do we have here? It sounds like 8,600 is a decent salary. It sounds like 7,600 isn't the worst salary, but definitely, you know, not even towards the middle of the pack. What are we going to get here? A Frozen Jack, another Bernie. Let's find out how we're going to end this show right now. And we've got ourselves another Bernie to finish off UFC Vegas 77 from a Salary Voodoo perspective. Our two fighters involved were Holly Holm and Mayra Bueno Silva. This is the main event. Thank you, Jenna, for picking this one. Salary score for 8,600 is very good. Top 5 guys. In fact, 4th best overall, 6.59. What a score. 8,600, one of the best salaries you can target overall. Meanwhile, 7,600, like I said, and it fit perfectly. Not the worst salary. We're down in the lower to mid 30s there, but not the best, not even average, and we're right in the middle at 23. 9.25 salary score for Mayra Bueno Silva. 4th place is going to do all the heavy lifting here with the 8,600. So this one did make a Bernie just barely, but we got it done. Thank you to some of the other fights that might be doing a little bit less, putting this one hopefully towards the optimal lineup. So guys, that is going to do it for Salary Voodoo. Let's recap before we get you out of here.
I never met a fight I didn't like.
And just a quick recap for UFC Vegas 77, the Salary Voodoo here. Fight number 1, we had Melky Costa taking on Austin Lingo. We got ourselves a Frozen Jack with the $9,100 and the $7,100 salary, underperforming what we would expect, and both salaries are in the lower 20s as far as that goes. Next fight number 2, we've got a Bernie. Nazim Sadikov and Terrence McKinney, 8,700 taking on 7,500. This is definitely a fight to target, and the Salary Voodoo does back that up. And then we are ending the evening with the main event, Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Holly Holm. We got ourselves another Bernie there, a fantastic salary pair to target, 8,600, 7,600, with 8,600 being the 4th best salary overall that you can target. Absolutely love that. Let's get you guys out of here. Again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Please hit the like and the sub on this video as we inch closer and closer to 500 subs on the MonkMMATics channel. I hope you got some information from this. Be sure to share it with someone that plays in different DraftKings contests as you. And as usual, guys, leave a comment below for next week. I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So, enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.
I love this stuff. Only come here if you like that stuff.